All right, welcome back. I'm going to do a track breakdown of Stay For Me, which I released a bit ago. I'll put the links in the description if you want to check out the full song if you have not already. But if you have, welcome in. I started this project over 2 years ago. It's 31 hours. Nice little flex. It's not really a flex. So this kind of was like a bunch of sound design experiments that all came together into what you know is the current track. I guess the first real thing. I mean, this is the original. This is originally what the file looked like before I created a different arrangement, and then this is what the finished file looks like. Pretty swag. So this original Pluck and these plugs down here, these atmosphered things, they all come from this vital thing, which I'm pretty sure is a standard vital preset. Like, I'll look into this, but like, yeah, I finally found what the sample is. It's or what the preset is. It's a one I think that's just in here in the Mr. Bill folder. Super nice pluck. Beautiful, mystical preset that I edited a little bit. You can see what I did to it here. Just made sure it was this oscillator 2 that was on. I don't know if I changed this up. Let's try with these. I think I had another one. So this first one was used to make these sounds. And the second one was used to make these. Which is what makes up the atmosphere. And then the brain tempo, which I'll get into shortly. So that's the main part of the intro. And these plucks kind of reappear from time to time in each track. So this is number 7. I also had to pitch these up because these were in a different key before. So I had to, like I said, this was kind of a conglomeration of different sound design stuff that I was doing and different ideas that I had. So this just has a supermassive that I kind of play with. I love supermassive is one of my favorite reverbs. So that's probably the thing I use most. The Space Verb 1999 peak filter I have, delay, which isn't even loaded in. Awesome. I hope I didn't use that too much. Just another EQ. Awesome. Yeah. And a pitch map, which I load on later. Because, like I said, the keys are weird in this. So that's just making sure it stays in key and is doing exactly what I want it to be. It's probably like I use whatever key, minor, pentatonic, and pitch map the most often, just because it's hard to go wrong with that. It is really hard to go wrong with that. And I EQ out the bass in the later parts because I have a Reese for the most part. So I have the bass in here. So it's the main bass. I really don't mess around with it, and then I take it out for this part. So it plays nicely with everything else. Alright. Yeah. And then this also counts for when it's in here. Now this is chopped up to play the same rhythm as the chords I have. And the chords slowly fade out in the end. That's kind of the main use of this plug. And this is just so it transitions well when I back. You know. So it's not, because these sections are pretty different, you know. So it's just so it has something familiar. All right, so that's that main plug. Let's go back to the intro once again. Not too much here, just the pad. An arpeggio with a lot of reverb. I consolidated. Oh, there's a delay on it, which is why you get those nice, cool artifacts at the end, which I really love. So I love delay. It's a free plugin. It did not load in here, but it's a free plugin. It's really good. Delay with 2 E's. And then I add the Brain Tan samples. Use a sample pack on Splice. And I had to chop that to fix the timing, so it's a little weird, but also part of why I moved to just stay for me rather than stay awake for me. But I felt like it was nice to include that in the first half because the first half is so different from the second half. I mean, yeah, it lagged, but you know what I mean. So then the first half, the first intro bit still has this, well, I guess the verse bit is what you'd call it. These nice crush drums, which were in the original demo of what I made for it. Again, different keys, but I had strings before. And then the kick would come in. So that's what I had before, and then it turned into what was in this track. I just used all real samples. Mostly just using the Effector default plugin in FL. I use this a lot for bit crushing, the lo-fi. Pretty sure I use Effector on most, if not everything. A little added flanger and phaser. So not every hit sounds exactly the same. Just so it, you know, spices up things a little bit. And yeah. And then the other thing that comes in is these bits to drop, I mean, you know, tease the drop. Also in a different key, but the notes lined up for this part, so it worked. The key change is kind of smooth because you don't really notice it happen. But I mean, because especially since these 4 bars hide it pretty well. And then I have this. These are all samples for my sound design folder that I have. Psychatsu back, let's go. Yeah, so these color engine sounds was a sound design session I had on a stream a while back. So I just used a lot of them here. And this was originally in this file as well. Not that. This. So, yeah, this is where the original idea came from. Again, it's just a usage of my sounds. Started out as this. So, obviously cleaned up a lot more, but that was the original idea that I exported. Now, like I said, this is a sound design folder. So, I mean, kind of sound design file. So these bits, these little plucks, which I found really nice, came from this, I don't know, sound design sesh that was right here. That's the second sound in the drop that some samples, some bad computer underneath, silent sample, shark sample. And of course, all layered with that one sound as I had from that. And then, like I said, I don't know where this came from. I don't know what is pattern 15. So, fun fact, I guess that sound design session also came from that same Mr. Bill Vital preset, that Super Pluck or whatever it's called. I just played a bunch, and then I just like resampled. Like, I guess I put a lot of effects on it. 44. I don't know what I did, but I guess I put a lot of effects on it, and then got some pretty nice sounding sounds from it, which I then used to put in the drop. This is, like I said, been a little all over the place, but um, I mean, I had some weird stuff in here, but like I said, a lot of the ideas just came around. This is also in the drop. It's in the background, so you can't notice as much, but um, so let's go back. Um, so yeah, there's a build up. I use this you know, bad computer sample that I had used previously, and the snare build, which I've used like 80 times. I think I used both these bad computer samples in Fly, my song Fly, off of my album Cornerstone. I love that water. It's nice. And then a little, which I think is found in Go. You would have to go digging a lot to try to find it in Go, but it's there somewhere. Go is a very you should see the project file on that. I'm using the VR kind of fat face preset I found somewhere. Yeah, fat VR sub. Um, just a good sub. I use it a lot. Um, yeah. So first thing I'll talk about is this and its relationship to the drums, the kick and the snare. So I added these little accented kicks with turn down volume. I don't know where the bass is. To accent, to, you know, it's a good trick. I don't know where I found it from, but it's just a nice little thing to accent the bass. And I don't sidechain when I do this accent. It's just to add an extra bit of attack to that bass. Yeah, and like I said, it's just a big use of those color engine loops I've had, those color engine samples, and the samples which I made, which I just showed you. And like I said, this, which I'm pretty sure is found in Go as well, um, but it's more of a focus on that pattern 22. See if we can get it without effects. So it's just kind of like a saw wave type thing with some goofy effects, probably. Yeah. And then just pitch map, basically. So spectral pan, I don't even know what this does. I guess I just put on, oh, I guess I was feeling weird. I don't even know if did I use a frequency shifter in this? I did. Look at me. And the LFO on the serum, of course. EQ, yada yada. Nice little effects there, which you can kind of hear at towards the end of the loops. Which is nice because it goes and then crashes back down. It kind of swells up using that. And also, what's a really nice effect is using the, again, I have it somewhere. Oh, I think it's here. So these were Plucks. Whoops. I just made this and then just put pitch map on it probably. So I put the purify knob up on the pitch map that's on it up more. I automated up more so it turns more colory, and then I put Big Crush on it. And some frequency echo, so it frequency shifts while echoing. Which again is good for transitioning that part. Again, it's much of it, you can hear it. So that's pretty cool. And then yeah, just again using these chops. I think I did the same exact trick on nice little Big Crush. And then did some finer chops. At its base to make it, pretty nice. I like. Um, so that's pretty much it for this drop. I already went over these sounds. In the end, the final bit of processing I did, I think I exported it like 8 times. Notebook, vintage chords default. So I used some chorus. Which is nice. I also had these ARPs going underneath, which is probably goofy, I'm not gonna lie. But it's just a nice little layer to have. So a growl from a sample pack somewhere, and probably the most annoying ARP. Probably the most annoying ARP you could ever think of, but it works in this situation. And that layered with this. All pitch mapped, of course, because where would you be without pitch map? Nowhere. So pitch map does all the heavy lifting, but eventually it turns into. So it's basically that on top of that on top of this. So some nice bits. It's kind of chaotic, but it works all together, especially since you're moving at a good pace through it. And then for the second part of the drop, classic filter out stuff. And then I add the Plucks in from the intro. And this one repitched. That was a cool one. Because especially when it goes Well, you know, because it does the little break thing right here. Does the it does the wait until the clap to have everything so go in, so it goes bump. You know, it's pretty nice. I like. I said, all right, I want to break between the end of the drop and the beginning of the next section. One bar was too short, 2 bars was too long, so I did 1 bar of six, 1 bar of 6/4, and that's the part that transitioned this sound again. Again, some of the arps and reverbs coming in to help the transition. And the main sample is this piano loop I found, but obviously I have to heavily warp it. So it's again my trademark of using pitch map and effector and frequency shifter. So the original sample sounds like this. Really pretty. It's a 10 bar loop. It's a 10 bar loop. So I first had the first one loop not go to the 10 bars, and then I had the second one go to it. It's just what you see here: 8 bars and then 10 bars. So this break is, if you want to count it up, this break is this much long. I just have to put in these time signature things to make the grid look better. Otherwise, I started for when I started making the drop, it was on like a half bar because of the 6/4, and it was just like it was terrible to work on. So I eventually just did this to not give me a massive headache. Um, then pitched it up. Again, frequency shifter, effector, pitch map, and then lots of reverb, panamatic, everything. And it just I eventually take the effector off. So it's but that's when everything starts coming back in and swelling it, and that isn't the main element. So I kind of taking the effector off, taking that big crush off, which adds a lot of high end to it, especially since it's reverb. It's like then it's a lot thinner and it's more in the mids, so it does more of a supporting element job than the main focus job as more stuff is coming in. More stuff being these strings, which is just from augmented strings. Dark Sunlights preset. It's pretty nice. I love it. I'm pretty sure this is. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I got it like free at some point. There's maybe some promotion. I don't know if it's free all the time, but augmented strings is what I mean. My classic respace that I always use, and then put back in the Plucks, like I said earlier, with that pitch map on them to correct them, and then I added these bells, these Plucks, so it does the full, you know, 6 bars, and then when it gets to the part that I repeat, let me write in the strings for this. So these are some bells made to sound really old. Oh, they're so beautiful, man. So these are the Mark A sound from the Saif Samir synthwave, in Flex, good old Flex. The DX7 or Mark, whatever. Again, I wanted something old sounding, EQ, a notebook, which means some plugin I don't have. Vintage chorus on default, which is again vintage, and then stereo shaper, probably in one of the sterilizer, or maybe I put it on old just to put it make it extra old. I mean, the lows are heavily cut, but they just add so much warmth and vibrancy to the end. Especially since, this repeat of the chords going into the 9th and 10th bar of the loop. It makes it so nice. And we get into the second drop. So I think I did some weird thing where I like put 2 pitch maps or something on the original chords, and it made it like really choppy for some reason, like it was like lagging and glitching. And I heard an idea for how to sample it from that because it was like I said lagging, so it was basically what this turned out to be. Because I mean, it's kind of just like you know. It's the same chord movements and everything. It's just chopped up, spicy. So there's a lot of supporting elements. So there's original sample pitched up an octave, so I could get some crisp high end from that sample, some more crisp high end. Some volume to make it like really sharp and cut off when I wanted to, all the things in the thing. And then we have other stuff. Strings chopped in line with the chord progression. And then really wanted the attack and high end of that. It makes such a big difference having that. It's obviously lagging, but there's like no attack otherwise. So just a nice little thing to add there. Little kind of clicky thing. Classic kind of drums. Still that same. It's not going exactly along with the same thing this time, but it's nice. Kind of lead into it without being too prevalent. And then the fill, which of course comes from yeah. I had some heavier samples in here before, but I eventually decided to take them out after some feedback from close friends. All both back computer samples, I think. And then I eventually ended up putting in just more color engine sounds. Kind of a color growl, but I fit better with than like just something bassy. Stay. Nice little fills. Now, my favorite section of the entire track. So the first thing I did was do a delay on just a chop of the, sample, the first bit. It's just this beautiful atmosphere. I put pitch map on it just to correct because it's a little. I'm pretty sure I put a pretty heavy L2 on this. Yeah, plus 20, plus 21 gain on the L2 because I wanted this to be like compressed as hell. I wanted to make sure that it was trying to be sustained for the entire length of that. So I guess that was my solution. Stereo shaper, EQs, just cutting out some of the mids and then the lows. I use a lot of EQs randomly. Some for filtering, some for just minor cuts. So you'll see sometimes like 3 or 4 EQs on the same track. Um, I'm pretty sure this also pitch mapped to the wrong key. Found that out recently, but it works. Sustained out bass, and then these chords, baby. I die for these chords. Oh, and that mixed with this. Just such a vibe, man. I love this part. So that it's just like a basic dead mouse kind of pluck thing. I always go back to. It's from Cymatics sample. Oh. But the main thing I did on this, so this is 84, was put a vintage chorus on default again. I use vintage chorus in a lot of this. I just like the way it sounds. It sounds really nice. So I automated that on, and then also, of course, automated the cutoff, which is in the Serum plugin. So as you can see, Uni detune. Oh, I also automated the detune of the original Serum preset. Look at me! Look at me doing impressive stuff. That's awesome. Oh, and then that mix when you add the chorus on, it just makes it so nice. So it kind of gets a little out of control, but it's like a little bit of a controlled chaos type thing where it's like, it's a perfect amount. And you can see that I automated earlier on this back in. Oh, the pull in and pull out, like, gets me so hype. I'm not gonna lie. And then, of course, going into the next section, I take out the buzz from the sub because it's a little bit more of a chill section. I mean, it goes from breakdown from a high energy part to still sustaining some of that energy, and then this tries to take off another layer of that energy. It's just kind of like unwinding it slowly so that when the outro comes, it feels good. And not like you're being let down because the energy didn't last for long enough. I mean, you're getting a solid amount of energy right here. And then, like I said, these come back in. As these very slowly fade out. So at the end, all you have is, and then all the atmospheric elements from the second verse come in here, and then it ends. That was fun. Just automating it up because it's so old and warbly, it sounds cool that way. And you think you're getting more, potentially. Or like it's transitioning some other track. No, it just ends. Gotcha. I don't know. I just thought it'd be fun to add. So why not? No, I'm a funny guy. Um, so yeah, it's pretty much the track. I mean, it was really enjoyable to make. Like I said, it's just a bunch of mishmashing everything, but really different vibes from the first bit to the second bit. I love how it goes "Stay awake for me," and then it goes "Stay for me." Like, stay awake for me. Do it. Stay awake. Like, and then it's like, "Stay for me." Like, don't go. Like, oh shoot, you're not just like trying to sleep on me. You're trying to go. So then the vibe changes and it goes from like a playful stay awake, playful, joyful, and then it goes like stay for me. Desperation starts kicking in a little. There's an awesome drop, and then you're like, wait, you're leaving me. Stay for me. Because then this part gets you in your feels a little more, and it's like the vibes are coming in, and then he's like repeating it over and over, like he eventually doesn't even stay for me. He's just like stay, please stay. I love that little detail of like just the vocal like pitching up. And then when the chords start breaking down as they do, it goes to the for me. And when the for me kicks in, then the bells kick in and it's just beautiful. And then there's kind of a melancholic drop as he's saying stay for me. So the vibe shifts with the vocal shifts. I was it was subconscious, but like I was like kind of thinking, yeah, I'm completely bull, but like, but it's funny. Yeah, hell yeah, cool track. I'm gonna release more songs, so look out for that. Oh, I forgot to add. Shout out, shout out my, shout out my Quish and my Clicky One and Click Two, big game players. I had this one percussion pack which pretty solid. I just add Valhalla reverb to them and just adds nice to the vibe. While being percussive, still adding to the vibe though. Yeah. Put reverb on your percussion. It's kind of funny sometimes. If you do it well, tastefully. Cool. Bye.